And welcome everybody to Gamers Against the System. We are back. And of course you get greeted with that. Alright, let me just take these right there off and welcome to the show. And wow, there's a little black screen right there. That goes away.
Ugh.
Welcome to the show everyone, and of course as always I am your host, Chase the new Kitsuragi, however you want to state Tubac, and of course to the left of me, or right, is Richard Daku Cox. Of course, last episode we had, of course, was Kamori's farewell. He will come back eventually for a couple of episodes, but that's going to be a little bit. Anyways, so today we are doing the Destiny talk, because we're talking about this game for a little bit about everything, and it's been about a month since it's been out. Almost a month, 3 weeks, something like that. So
Yes, assload of spoilers.
yeah, spoilers if you haven't played it, or
Anything involving Destiny.
yeah, if you haven't played Destiny, there's spoilers galore. If you have played Destiny, nothing new. Really.
So
not.
let's start with the beginning.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with probably the biggest shocker in my eyes for the entire thing. I thought the opening cinematic for the game was actually going to be like halfway through the game, halfway through the expansion, and they opened up with probably one of the most shocking things. You open up, you start playing the game, and it goes through and does the entire ghost talking about how he found you and that he didn't start out, he was created on Earth, but he didn't start there. He actually went other places, so that's why you've been dead for so long. It's because he didn't look for you.
That.
And then
What did like 100 years looking for you it was?
200, I think,
Ridiculous.
something like that. 100, 200. Oh wow. Okay. And then it goes to a cutscene of the Hive fleet with the Dreadnought and the Taken King
With the Awoken.
being approached by the Awoken, and the Queen is a badass.
Was.
Maybe is. So they do the entire glorious huge battle. Shit goes downhill. The Queen uses like 3 other of her Queen's Maids or whatever they are. No one actually explains what they are.
I just call it her council.
Yeah, her council, and fucking wrecks half or a good portion of the Dreadnought's fleet. Just wrecks some of the ships, and then Orcs just stabs his sword into a puddle of goo and activates the weapon on his Dreadnought, which is a huge, like, spherical blast that pretty much wipes out all of the Taken fleet.
Including whatever was left of his fleet.
Yeah. What's
It's
left
like,
of...
it's like the Queen spit at him and he just took a hose and was like, there you go.
And didn't even give a fuck that he's like, I'm just blowing up some of my own ships, whatever. It's their fault they're in the way. But, you know, she closes her eyes and the blast hits her ship. There's, and so they killed off the Queen. And of course the brother,
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know that she's dead.
Technically, the fleet's still there. It's just in pieces.
Well, and the funny part is they allude that she died, but her brother makes it out of the blast.
Well, they also put oh yeah, 'cause she told him to leave, huh? I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
But like after everything goes, she says it's up to you now, Guardian. The Woken have done their part. So it's like, is she alive or is this just part of the storyline telling us, what's going on?
I don't get it. I really don't. I think to be honest, I think she's live because of a couple things: the Taken War Petra quest line, and the fact that you get mysterious objectives every once in a while you're doing stuff on planets. And the ghost makes mention that the signal is something familiar, and hints that could be the queen, but it could be the brother easily. The only thing I said is I'm gonna be pissed if they kill off the queen but kept the brother alive, because I don't like the bastard. I was hoping
He's a
he died.
douche. I replayed that mission again and talked to him again. He's a douche. I forgot how much of one.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him dying.
But speaking of, I mean, after the cinematic, I was really confused. Remember, I hadn't played Destiny in like 6 months. So I went and started, and I'm in town. Fucking everybody wants to talk to me. There's notifications everywhere. Go talk to multiple people. Some were like, hey, do this mission. I was like, wait, that's the first mission in the original Destiny. And it's like, oh, good job, you did this, and here's an item. And they gave me a bunch of items for being year one. I had to go talk to different people. But some of them, I talked to them, and then I had to talk to them again after I left. Talked to them again, something different happened. It's like, oh, you need to start this mission. I was like, wait, but that's the first mission for the second expansion. It took me quite a while to figure out what the hell a quest was. And I was very unhappy that I have to now go beat the game again to earn all said quests. And what also made me mad is the items that they give you. It's like, good job, you, for buying Destiny originally. You're awesome. 5 minutes, everything I found was better than what they gave me. Just 5 minutes. I was like, you at least give me something that might be good for a raid or something. Give me one good item.
Something to use.
Suck.
Something to use in the future. Yeah. No.
Everything's gone. 10 minutes. I got rid of all of it because I found better shit. On top of my stuff being halved, by the way. That also pissed me off.
Well, that made more sense with how they adjusted the light level and everything, and we'll go into that a little bit later. No, when I booted up the game, because I booted it up on the 24-hour stream, so I booted that up. Had to wait, exit out right at 2:59. Went to character select. Right as 3 hit, I hit X on my hunter. Went to the game, did that first the year 2 or the year 1 quest. Finished that off. I'm like, cool. I just got a gun that I know I'm not going to be using in 30 minutes because it's crap. But cool, you gave me an exotic I never had. Cool. I'm putting that into my vault, and then I'm like, okay, so where do I start this first quest? What the hell? And then I went to order. I'm like, okay, what the hell?
I spent 20 minutes looking for the first quest.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to check every planet. And I'm like, I know there's not going to be anything there at the reef, but let me check anyways. So I checked the reef first. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Where do I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, well, let's just go on a whim. I went to Mars, and there it is. Phobos is lit up. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Which makes it even better because every fucking planet has a marker on it for the new expansion. So it's like, do I go to all of the planets? That's what really threw me off. You think like there'd be one marker. Here, this is where the Taken King takes effect. It's in this one. Go to this planet. But
Yeah.
everything's lit up.
Oh yeah, it's like it was a mess. Give you something good. Why would they do that? I don't know. I personally believe that you should get something good after you put in the time and effort. But the year 1 quest, it's just funny that they
What
give
about
you something
which
crappy.
I never even heard of. There was the year 1 thing where you beat everything on hard. There was like 10 things you had to do.
Yeah, there's a year 1. It's a special emblem. A lot of people have it.
I haven't even finished one raid.
Yeah.
Almost did the Vault of Glass on easy. Still, everybody quit on me.
so that one required you had to find all the gold chests. Um, you had to do a whole bunch of things, but the biggest things that people were having an issue with is you had to beat Skolas in Prison of Elders. You had to beat Vault of Glass hard and Crota's End hard.
Yeah, they wanted you to beat everything on hard and find all the magic shit.
Yeah, once you had all that, you got pretty much all it is an emblem. I walked around with that for a little bit.
Had 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of people that had 9 out of 10. Komori actually had 9 out of 10 because I got him Vault and Crota, but we couldn't do. We just never had a third person to do Skolas to help him out. So he had 9 out of 10. But yeah, it was. All it was an emblem, and it's like, okay, you could have actually done something cool for us, for the people who did do that, because that wasn't, for some people that's not an easy task. For others it's a walk in the park, but just getting an emblem no one else is going to get is kind of like, all it is bragging rights at that point. So some of the stuff that I thought that they did right though. So you talked about the weapons being halved, and that's true, because of how they adjust light level and it not being your level anymore. It is now, your level is your level. Your light is your attack and your defense, essentially. And the weapons attack and the armor's defense are now equaled out. So you'd have, like for me right now on my Hunter, which is 304 or 305 light. I mean, I'm running like 308 armor here, 310 armor here, 30.
I just got the 259.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, I'm running the raid. I've beaten it 2 weeks in a row. It's only been live for 2 weeks now, so it's technically been live for 3 weeks. It's just we got up to Sisters our first week, and then a reset happened, so couldn't do that again. But honestly, I like how it works, and I enjoy the fact that they did it. There's a fix in there that we'll get to in a little bit when we get to the fixes. The fact now that you get an artifact, I thought that was great. Something else that gives you a little added bonus, and the added thing of your ghost finally having different alternate colors, and it actually giving you a defensive bonus and actual bonuses, even though they're not too terribly great. Have you gotten a relic? Your relic?
I was given one for one of the missions, but I found one too, which really don't seem to do much. I mean, I don't have any legendary ones yet, but they just seem to add some extra defense. Really, that's about it.
Some of the higher level ones will do like one I got is 310 defense, and it gives me bonus super energy whenever I get a void kill type thing. They have some good bonuses.
Where'd it go? Oh. Yeah, this one doesn't do shit. This one's just 245 with a 48 intellect increase, and that's it.
Yeah, rares aren't always great. The ghosts are a nice touch, but I don't think the bonuses make up for them. Especially with how hard it is to actually get a ghost above 300. I know that for a fact. So with that, like I said, I like what they did with some of the stat changes and how they worked. For the quest setup, how they had the quests built, I think they actually did well in trying to add in something that wasn't there originally at launch. The quest how the quest went and everything worked with everything. The rewards for the quest actually kind of felt equal to the quest. So the harder rewards or harder quests gave you better rewards.
Yeah, I mean the looking at the quests, the only reason I feel like I want to beat the quest is to get the stupid marker off the planet. Because I guess it's like, oh, beat this and you get experience. It's like, I'm gonna get experience anyways. Like, why? You're gonna give me more experience? How much more experience? It just says experience. You know, if it was like a bounty kind of thing, like, oh, we're gonna give you 1,000, 1,500 experience, that'd be cool. But it's just like, oh, you're gonna get experience. That's enjoy. You know, there's like, oh, here you're gonna get a legendary weapon for beating the last boss of this, this level. It's like, oh, well, I'll do that. There's just no incentive to go redo the quest other than you want to beat everything.
Yeah, but well, the old one was worse. It was like that. The original game, you'd sit there and you're like, oh, so I get an experience in this. This one, it's like, okay, you go do a mission, and you're like, okay, bonus experience, yay. And then you do some of the quests, you're like, when you actually do the quest lines, you're like, okay, blah blah, let's just get this, let's get this, and then you start looking at more, and you're like, okay, so I'm getting a legendary weapon from this. Okay, I want to get the sun now. But it was a good attempt in what they did. I don't think it was the best executed, but it was good what they did. They worked something finally.
Yeah, I mean, stats wise, it was okay, but I think they did a lot of interesting things with the game overall, which I have somewhat of a list of. It looks like the cinematics have gotten better. I love how they added Cade as a humor type to it. One of my favorite quotes from him is still the when Eris threw the green ball. He's like, "Get your rock off my map."
Oh yeah.
And there's interesting hidden things now too. Well, before I get to that, I noticed it took me quite a few strikes to notice, but when you're doing strikes now, the enemies are randomized, so it could be anywhere from a normal level 36 to a Taken level 36, or both, or also the dialogue changes on what they're saying. So if you're running through a part and they say something, or you beat a boss and they say something, so far I've seen at least 3 different endings for one strike. Different enemies, like one time Hive came in chips, the other time it was Fallen. It's like it's not repetitive anymore. So if you go to beat the game or beat the same strike over and over, it's different. It's like a new experience now. It's not the same, like, oh, I'm going to shoot this guy, I'm going to shoot this guy, I'm going to shoot this guy. I mean, it's so repetitive sometimes. You go into a room, and you can snipe a few things because you know exactly where they're standing. Because it's just so ridiculous. But now it's exciting.
It's exciting to see a different thing, and I do agree with that.
They added some sprinkles into that pancake batter.
The strikes actually changed up a little bit. I like that. Pretty much what happens is now every time you go into a strike, it rolls variables and decides, okay, this is going to be, let's say the Undying Mind. The Undying Mind's a great one. It goes, okay, you're going to go in this, and it's going to be, for the PS users, for PlayStation users, you know it from when it came out, it's going to be just the, I can't remember their name. Our favorite machines.
Vex?
Yeah, it's going to be only Vex. And you're like, okay, well, I've done this 100 times. Or you load into it again at a different time, and it goes, hey, actually, this time it's going to be taken all the way through up to the boss. And you're like, okay, this is interesting. Let's go ahead and do this. And you go through and you're doing that. Or another time, it rolls and goes, hey, it's going to be Vex and Taken. The Vex are going to pop in here and then here. And the Taken are going to pop in here and here, or you load in its Vex Taken again, and the Taken start the fight, and then you go Vex. Or you can get Taken Vex Vex, or 3
Yeah, I
rows
do
of
love
Taken.
one of my favorite things, which kind of helps eliminate farming a little bit, is getting guaranteed engrams at the end of every strike.
Yeah.
The least I've ever gotten was 2 blue ones. The most I ever got was 1 green, 3 blue, and 1 legendary, all from one boss on a level 36.
I think
Unbelievable. I was like, I'll do this all the time. Get tons of shitloads of stuff for this.
with 3 of Coins, and we'll explain 3 of Coins later. But with 3 of Coins, my best haul for a heroic strike was 2 blues, 3 legendaries, and an exotic weapon.
Jesus.
And granted that I was at like 6 stacks for the Vanguard bonus, and I had to use like 3 of Coins before that for fights leading up. So I had a really high chance of getting shit, but
Yeah.
I think what they've done for the loot is good, and it helps out more. The other thing that makes me want to go in is to strikes more often now is the fact that you can get especially engrams. They're legendary engrams, but they're not legendary. They're like, I can't remember what they're called. They're a different name. They're still purple and everything, but they're not legendary. They're always going to be a legendary, but they have a chance of dropping a unique item from the bosses. So, per se, the three Scion boss,
Yeah.
they can drop the engram. Whoever you kill last can drop the engram. If you get the engram and it turns out to being the item, for a hunter, what it is it's a class item, and the hood comes around. It's like any normal hunter hood, but it changes between if it's the void, the arc, or the solar, and has a different effect and different coloring for it. So it gives you an incentive to go back through and do it to get those unique
Which
items.
reminds me, on that level, the 3 flares, again, the randomization, played that 4 times in a row, which was really annoying. And then I went through a 5th time. I was like, what the hell? Got to the end. There's a turret up there that you can use. I was like, where was that the other 4 times I needed it?
It's random. They added in a randomness factor that you also get a bonus, a benefit to yourself randomly in all the strikes. And I think that's a great addition, that it's not always going to be the same. And I commend them on making it work better. Now, granted, it works on the new strikes for the game. So that's the Shield Brothers, the Sunless Cell, and I can't remember the 2 Mars ones that are on there.
Mars ones.
And then the Undying Mind. So there's 5 strikes it works on. Or 6, sorry. And Saber's. Saber's the other one that it works on. Which is on.
I'm not sure if I've played all 6 then.
I think Saber might be PlayStation exclusive. No, it can't be, because it was Nightfall the other week. And their Nightfalls are all the same across all the platforms, so no one gets shipped. So I don't think PlayStation got exclusive
Maybe I
strikes
just
this
haven't
time.
played it enough. I've
Maybe.
done a shitload of strikes, but I don't know. There's a randomization factor.
Saber's the one where you start off and you have to defend the war sat. Right off at the
Oh,
start.
you're protecting Rasputin.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah. The Cosmodrome.
So
Yeah, the items, there's a new thing which I only found because of YouTube. There's hidden ways to get items. I don't know if this was an original, if this is Taken King exclusive. But for example, in one of the levels in the Taken King, instead of going along with the mission, you get towards the end of the level, and you take a detour. If you take a detour, you have an 8-minute timer start.
The 10-minute timer. Yeah, the black spindle is what it
Yeah,
came with.
that's a timer. So it's like you go and then you can beat this, and then you get well, it's an exotic, right?
Yep, it's a guaranteed exotic sniper rifle called the black spindle.
And it's like there's a couple things that are like that. I guess there's another hidden one. I don't remember if you told me about it or if I found it online. But it's a room people have gotten to, and when they're in there, they get an effect. And I can't remember if it was in the Taken King quest line or if it was
It's
raid.
actually part of the Taken King raid. It's a special it's a little area, but the developers just put in there.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything
Yeah,
right
there's
now. So
nothing.
it's like,
What they stated, someone from Bungie community stated that all it is there for people to blow off steam if they get up there. I don't know why they make it so hard to get up there if they want people to go do it.
blow off steam.
Yeah, because you take the item and all you do is you dunk it constantly.
What?
It's just a game of basketball, essentially.
Wow.
So pretty much what you get is you get 3-on-3 and people jump and you have to defend them from dunking the relic and everything. It's stupid fun, but I think if they were going to really legitimately say that's how that is, they would have
Yeah.
made it easier to get to. Because it is not
Well,
easy to get
I
to.
mean, Easter eggs are usually hard to get to too. So
Yeah, but when you have to do a sword glitch to get up to it,
I don't know.
Yeah. you have to pay in a combination and then sword glitch to get up to the initial bridge. Someone has to sword glitch to get up to the initial bridge to open the bridge correctly. Doing a combo and then finding the bridge in a short amount in a small frame, that's a better Easter egg than having to have someone sword glitch to get up to it.
Yeah. Speaking of, there's some new things in there as well, which starts a quest. Are the calcified fragments?
Yeah.
After looking, it looks really, really annoying. Once you find the first one, it starts your quest with Eris,
Yep. And
and
then you
there's 50 of them, and you can get stuff for gathering them. But at 45, you get an exotic weapon, which, from what I've seen, for all that effort, really doesn't seem that great.
Oh no, it's it's the King's Fall killer. So to get the quest, you have to have 10 calcified fragments, and you get the King's Fall quest line. It's an exotic quest line. After you do that, you have to beat the raid the first time to finish off the quest line. Once you get that done, then you have to find 30 calcified fragments to get the next portion open. Sorry, before that you have to get like 50 or 20 worm spore and 50 of another item, which one item is a pain in the ass because you can only find it in chests. After you get the 30, you have a quest where you go into the Undying Mind, a special instance of the Undying Mind. You have to kill a certain mob, call it good. I soloed that, by the way. That one was fucking hard. Then at 45, you get the next quest to go into another mission, kill that, kill a special named wizard in that mission. When you kill that wizard, it completes. You go to Eris, you get the gun. The gun itself, when you look at it, isn't that great. It's great, but it's not great. So while you're using it, it's only got 11 round clip. You can fire it down to one bullet. It will never drop below one bullet, ever. But yep, it will never drop below one round. But in doing so, it takes some of your health to double the damage of the gun.
So yeah, I remember now reading it. Just reminded me, and it didn't make sense how it was explained on the gun, the way it explained how the details work.
Yeah.
So by one round, do you mean in the magazine or 1 round overall you've run out of ammunition?
1 round in the magazine. So when you expend 10 of the 11 rounds, you should the 11th round always stays in the clip, and every time you fire, you take a portion of your health. And I'll explain why it's the King's Fall later when we go a little bit into the raid.
So if you were to reload, for example, would that effect go away?
Yes, it goes back to the 11 rounds, and you have to waste the 10 rounds to get that.
So as long as you never reload, it'll work.
Yep.
Hmm.
So, another thing I want to talk real quick about that I actually thoroughly enjoy is the randomness of the exotic armors now. I know people hate it. People hate how random the rolls are now on exotics for the armors, and I thoroughly love it because you can actually get an exotic that's more for your playstyle. Because I had recently just gotten a Crest of Alpha Lupi for my hunter that when I got it was discipline strength. I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care for discipline strength, and I never care for Alpha Lupi anyways.
I'm all intellect.
And I was looking through it and doing some stuff, and I was looking, I'm like, oh hey look, I can go buy get the exotic blueprint version, and it's looking like it's intellect and strength. I'm like, sweet, that's what I want. I'll totally take that, and it's got a better strength bonus and better intellect bonus than the one I have currently. So I went ahead and sharded my 290 Alpha Lupi, bought that one for 280. I'm like, whatever. And I picked it up, and then I looked at it again, and the next one that popped up was intellect and discipline. I'm like, which the intellect, no matter what, was overall was lower, but the discipline was higher than the strength stat. My strength stat. I'm like, okay, I like that. I like the randomness that you can get from the exotics. I know a lot of people hate it, but I thoroughly enjoy it because it means that you can always get something better. But you just gotta be smart about it. You can't just sit there and go, oh no, I'll just start this and go and do this. Sometimes, because it's every day it resets. It changes what it is when you look at it. So after 3 a.m. it always changes. So I'm like, okay, well, I want something better here, so I'm just gonna wait till it gives me the stats I want. So I think it's a nice change.
What I kind of didn't like was, it's not that I don't like the legendary marks in general. I don't like the way you have to earn them. Because starting out, especially as a person with no friends, I have to earn legendary marks. The easiest way is probably the daily heroic, the weekly, and the nightfall, stuff like that. None of which I could do because I get my ass kicked, because I suck, because I don't have good stuff, because I don't have the legendary marks to buy it. Or I don't have the luck to find it randomly, which I just started doing recently. And then there's the multiplayer, which I'm going to go off on multiple rants here real quick.
Go right ahead.
I suck so much at multiplayer, I just hit rank 1 like 2 days ago for multiplayer Crucible points, which was a proud moment for me. Only reason I was playing Crucible was because it gives you legendary marks. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go play with some little kids for a little bit just to get some legendary marks. 2 things on that. First, whenever I do free-for-all, it does not give me legendary marks. That pisses me off. Second, in free-for-all, I had a bounty. If you get at least 10 kills and no more than 7 deaths, you get the bounty. I got 11 kills and 7 deaths, it did not give it to me. So now I lost the bounty, which I'll probably never get again because that was totally luck. Because I'm always like 0.4 on my kill-death ratio. And then I didn't get the legendary marks for it, so I was like, what the hell? I did this 3 days in a row, got nothing. But the second one, the one that was teamwork, which either elimination or team deathmatch, stuff like that, I always got the point, regardless of whether I won or lost. I always got the marks instantly, first try. So I don't know if it's broken or if there's some secret to getting the legendary marks on free for all,
Okay,
but that was
so
really
there.
annoying.
So not all the time will you get it for free for, or when you do free for all, you have to be in the top two. Um,
So I'm never gonna do that.
yeah. Uh,
Someone else drops except for me and the second person.
and the other thing about it is the thing I dislike about how they did the legendary marks. You can only get the legendary marks from the Nightfall once a week. You can only get the legendary marks from the heroic strikes once a week. So you're reliant on doing the daily story mission, the daily PvP, and the daily or the Nightfall PvP, which is fucking stupid. If you're not good at PvP, do not do that last
Wait,
option.
Nightfall PvP?
Is something that happens. You can only do it once a week, but you only reap the benefits for winning.
That's what I suck at.
And I mean, usually it's a team-based thing, but I've watched people. I've been in quite a few where my team was winning. We were rocking it. We were awesome, and we lost it out of nowhere. And you don't get any credit. You can't, because you're already ranked or level 40, so you're not getting any experience. Your loot chances on it are vastly decreased for losing. You don't have a guaranteed, or you don't have a chance at loot. Pretty much, it's so low. There's no point in doing it. The only time you get anything is if you win, and you get legendary marks, which is only like 10, so I don't think it's worth it. And you have an increased chance at legendaries and exotics. So, it's not really worth it. I don't. The legendary marks they work, but they don't work the way they are intended. I know that they sat there and they're like, "Well, take your time," but that's not how I play some games. Some games I want to make sure I am geared and ready to go into a raid within the first week, if possible.
Which reminds me, with the introduction of legendary marks, they give out strange coins like fucking candy.
And then everything costs like 4 times as much in string coins when Xur comes around.
I got my, what is it? I got my first exotic for year 2 from Xur for 13 strange coins. It was a helmet. Which was great because I had nothing but shit. I had nothing but blue items. Still, half my stuff's blue, but I have a few legendaries now. But I had like another 70 coins. I was like, hell, I'll buy 3 more and just break them down for parts. Might as well. I have so many strange coins and nothing else to spend it on.
Yeah, 3 of coins is what you want to spend most of your money on when you do that, because it's actually worth it.
How does that work exactly?
So, and let's go ahead. Since Xur sells it, Xur sells 5 strange coins for 7. Not strange coins. 3 of coins for 7 strange coins. What it does for you is, whenever you fight a ultra, a named mob that has a skull on next to their name, it increases the chance that they drop an exotic.
Wait, what do you mean has a skull next to its name?
Like bosses.
Okay, so any boss pretty much.
Yeah.
Or virtually every strike.
Yeah. Except for the 3 scions. It does not work on them. Because none of them have a skull next to their name.
They're not really a boss, they're just 3 really strong guys.
Yeah. They're 3 ultras, but they're not the ultras that it refers to, which I think they need to change that term there.
Well, see, they don't seem like bosses. They don't have boss health bars.
Yeah.
They're just regular yellow health people.
Yeah. So, what it is you have an increased chance. You kill that named champion, or you kill that guy. He doesn't drop anything. It eats your 3 of coins. The next strike you go into, when you pop that 3 of coins, now your chances went from, say, 5%, and this is an exact math because I don't know what it is, but it goes from a 5% drop rate to 10% drop rate.
So do they have a time limit on them?
Nope.
Or
Well, they do, and it's until you log. The moment you log, it gets rid of the bonus. Or, if you get an exotic, it burns the bonus. So, the entire thing of it is, and what people thought you had to do is you just burn like 5 at a time and you get a really high chance. No, that's not how it works. It works in you use it once, you don't get anything, you use it again, you don't get anything, you use it again, you don't get anything, and it increases steadily. So, like I said, starts off with a 5%, goes to 10%, next one it goes to a 15%, gets up to 20%, and then from there it goes to 22.5, 25, 27.5, 30. Like I said, I don't know if that's exact math. I don't know how they have it calculated or anything like that.
well, define not getting anything. 'Cause, I
If
mean, I
you
get
don't
some-
get an exotic, it has to be an exotic for it to burn. The moment you get an exotic, it burns it, and you start out at the original percentage of an exotic drop, which is a 1%. So, and I mean, I've had it where I've burned one string or 1 3 of coins, and right there, that same area, I get an exotic, and I burned 10 before I got one. Actually, the most I've burned is 4 before I got another one. So it increases it at a steady pace. So you have a high chance, you have a better chance of getting them. So they're worth the strange coins, to be honest. Just what people were doing, and they lowered it technically. If you rapidly kill a boss, what they would do is there's a story mission boss that you can use them on, and they bring the boss down to like really low health to where one rocket would kill them, and they run in and they shoot the boss with the rocket and kill themselves at the same time. And what that did is it burned the strange coin, but since you died, or the 3 of coins, but since you died, you know, you didn't get the drops, but you could still see if there was an exotic, and if an exotic dropped, cool, you got an exotic. It just goes to your postmaster. So they just keep doing that and burning it and burning it and burning it. And Bungie's like, no. So the faster you kill those type of bosses, the lower your chances get, and the less bonus you get.
How do people figure that shit out?
Trial and error. People want to do everything they can to break the game because it's a first-person shooter. It still is, no matter how much it wants to be an MMO, it's still a first-person shooter, and it's exploitable.
There's always a way.
Oh, yeah. So another good thing that I wanted to bring up, the 3 new classes, 3 new subclasses. Have you tried any of them out?
I haven't tried. I still haven't played anything but Hunter. But I do want to mention Hunter totally fucking OP. I mean,
Exactly.
I was modest before, but damn. Like, the new thing where I can now see where treasure chests are, and where anything is. The iron, the spin metal, the blooms. I can just see them on the map. They're just there.
Yep.
Like, I don't have to have anything special. It's just like, oh, I passed by one. Let's get it. Oh, there's a treasure chest over there. Let's go get it. Like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't show calcified fragments, because that would be ridiculous.
It does not,
the
but
fact that I can just go and just see everything, I'm great. Like, if my friends want to go farm with me, it's like, oh, there's a chest there, there's a chest there, there's a chest there. I can just see everything. On top of that, we've got the two specials. We have the new smoke grenade thing, which is okay, and then the bow, of course, which is fucking OP. Um, kills anyone in multiplayer in one hit every time I've used it. And what I'm trying to get right now, I have it so the anchor's extended, and I don't use it on the boss anymore because whenever a group comes out to kick my ass, I just fire it, and they're stuck there forever. Like they can't do anything. They're just moving really slowly, like slobs, and we just pick them off. I can literally beat the shit out of all of them before they get out of it. So now there's the new one, which I'm trying to get just by leveling up. I can shoot 3 arrows at once. So I can just go and shoot 3 groups or shoot a boss 3 times. I mean, if you're in multiplayer, which I was experiencing getting my ass kicked, was a guy who would join a fight real quick. I'd be fighting someone, he'd do a special, shoot 2 of us, and then still have a 3rd arrow left.
Yeah.
Or he'd just go into a room and just spam it when there's a group of people fighting. Odds are he's going to hit someone, if not anchor someone. But it's just like, it's a... And that's not even including the grenades, which, by the way, the firewall is awesome.
I know, isn't it?
Like, I don't even use any other grenades. I tried the vortex, which is okay, but the firewall is perfect because people just keep walking through that shit.
Yeah,
So, like,
it
if
doesn't
Thrall
do
are
too
running
much
at you,
damage.
just throw it down, just walk through it. They all killed themselves.
No.
The invisibility grenade, though, doesn't really... I don't really find that useful. Maybe in a raid it would be useful, but in multiplayer and stuff like that, it's pointless for me.
So there's a... Oh, I'm getting a backbeat from you.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why just now?
Probably because you're covering something or you're really close to your computer. I don't know why.
You're getting feedback of yourself or feedback of me?
I was getting feedback of you. Yeah, now it's gone.
Okay, that's interesting.
Odd. So I thoroughly the smoke pellet. I like using the poison on it. It works so well
That's
on
the
bosses.
only thing I use is the poison.
But
It also sticks to people.
Yep, I've used the vanish one, but it's still borked. If you use the vanish one, enemies can still know where you are.
Do they?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it doesn't always work correctly. It
Well,
works
it's very
sometimes
cheap.
and it doesn't
If
others.
you do it, the instant you fire one bullet, everyone knows where you are.
Yeah.
It's like, it works if you don't do anything, if you're just passive.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's I've done it where to get away from someone before, like away from a boss. I did it to get me and a buddy away, and boss wasn't right on top of us, so there's no way he could have known. So I threw it down, and we both were walking back. The boss literally tracked my buddy, killed him, and ran to me, and we were still both cloaked. And we were actually a good click away from the boss. So it's not like the boss didn't know we were there. So...
Well, is it specifically the boss, or is it other characters that don't notice you as well? 'Cause
No,
some
it was actually the
bosses-
boss. The boss actually just darted towards him and
Because
killed
it
him.
seems like on some bosses, they wouldn't care whether you were invisible or not. They'd still kick your ass.
But, and then, of course, I used the firewall a lot, but, 2 funny things. One great story. Doing Undying Mind with the tethers and making it so everything that's tethered that dies gives people orbs, and having a Void Walker, because I was helping my buddy out because he needed to get Void kills for one of his quests. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So I pegged them with the arrow, and he's like, dude, don't. I'm like, I'm not killing them. They're just weakened. And he stopped and realized it. He would he would do his he'd do his Void Walker special or super, kill the entire group. Mind you, it's like 10 majors in one area,
Yeah.
and each one drops 2 orbs per tether, and 2 orbs per kill from the Warlock blast. And our other Warlock, who is seeing their fucking Palpatine it up as Stormcaller, is just like, dude, I have super for days now. Super fucking days. And seeing they're grabbing it and just supering the boss. I'm like, shit, okay, we'll just keep doing this shit. But no, hunters are probably next to sunbreakers are the most OP for the subclasses. Um, Primarily because you can do the three. If you do the three, you're pretty fucking brutal. It kills people and it does a small tether and it's pretty broken, but not too bad. Um, Defending a point as a Night Stalker, and I've shooting an arrow right into one guy, killing him, tethering his team, and one of his team was a striker using his ult on me. He got tethered, it kicks him out instantly of his super.
Another
So
OP move.
it's super broken with how overpowered it is. Now, granted, it's easily defeated because if you just turn to the where the anchor is and shoot the anchor a few times, it breaks and you're good to go.
I
But
did not know you could shoot the anchor.
you can shoot the anchor. That's where it's easily defeated. But if they're already using a super and you use it, you just killed off their super and they're starting from scratch for super. It doesn't matter if they kill you after that. You just stopped them from using a super. And you canceled it out and drained all their energy for their super. It's kind of a big deal. It's what makes people piss off about Night Stalkers. Next to the three arrows, you do three arrows and someone's supering, you just tether the ground right where they're gonna land, and it breaks their super. Or Blade Dancer, you just shoot where they could hit, come up to you, and it tethers them, and they're screwed. And then you put another arrow in their face.
There's another weakness it has is the delay. When you hit the super and he goes to pull the bow back, there's a delay window where they can just kill you.
Oh yeah, and I'm actually okay with it. It's
I've tried using my super close up. It does not work.
no, you don't. You hit them at a range, but it does have an arc. It is still an arrow, which I think is great. So you have to actually plan it accordingly. So when you shoot it, you will notice if where you're targeting. Usually the hunter will arc it up a little bit to make it to that point.
Yeah, and
So
it is
you
slow
have to.
too because it's an arrow, not a bullet. So you do have to lead the target on it.
Yep. Which is fine because if you lead them just right where, if you're trying to hit them, you have to lead them. If you're not trying to hit them, you just shoot roughly in front of them and it'll tether them. You might get lucky and kill them too. So, I've only dabbled with Stormcaller. I've only done the mission. So, from what I've played around with Stormcaller, I like the entire thing of being able to go like an Emperor Palpatine and fly around and fucking shock the shit out of everyone.
Like groups.
Oh, they do.
Like if there's a group of people, they are gone.
They are crowd control central. I mean, they fucking just destroy everything. They'll clear ads easily, and I love having a Stormcaller on the raid. I really do. They run ads and they just kill. They kill all the ads. I'm like, cool. I don't have to worry about shit.
Seems like that would be a great special for the Crota raid. Just have 6 warlocks.
Here, let me just mow through this.
They're thralling away? Oh, let me get that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, I'll get the next group. Don't worry, I'll get the next group.
Now, I have played more of my Titan now with Sunbreaker. And I have to admit, Sunbreaker's fucking badass.
It's like some Thor hammer shit.
Oh my god. One of the bonuses you can get is when you throw your hammer at someone, like, and you have the reticule on it, it will track them for a little bit. It's not like a super track, but it will go towards them a little bit better than if you just threw it normally. So it actually has a tracking functionality to it and works really well. They did patch a glitch where you could sit in, because you throw down a hammer on the ground and it can leave a sunspot. And while you're standing in the sunspot, you can throw more hammers. Well, there is a glitch where if you did that and you landed in your own, you could just start throwing hammers. And it'd be like a machine gun turret of hammers for the rest of your super. And you just keep firing. So it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, let me defend this point. Throw it down, just slaughter anything that moves. and it slows your super drain down, so you pretty much could sit in a super for like a minute and a half, and in a PvP match, that's 14 kills right there. And yeah, it was kind of broken, a little brutal, but
Yeah, I missed all the broken shit because it took me so long to get the game. So no worries. Plus, I never play multiplayer until I have to get legacy or legendary marks.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so let's see. The other thing I like, but real quick, that I wanted to touch, but I felt that Destiny was a little late on this, was the addition of actually giving us more story. You mentioned it earlier about Cade having an emotion and talking and actually having character, and them giving some of the characters a little more character, a little bit. You kind of started to feel for the characters a little bit more and understand them a little bit more. But I felt that it's a little too late. A lot of the people that you could have grabbed with a good storytelling have already long since dropped the game. And the fact that there is more lore inside the game now. They talk a little bit more. They give you a little more knowledge of some of the stuff that's going on, and a little more lore inside the game. So you don't have to pull up your computer or go to Bungie.net to look at the fucking Grimoire cards or the calcified fragments, because those are all lore as well. And I think the last 3 still have yet to be found. You can only get 47 as a 50 still.
There's the last 3 aren't there.
No one can find them.
Oh, they can't find them. Okay.
And we're all thinking they're part of King's Fall Hard.
I bet somebody's found them already and they don't know. I went on a strike 7 times. The 6th time I went on it, I was just mindlessly following a guy, and we accidentally just found a fragment. It was behind a gate in a corner.
So
you can't even get there. You have to like kind of duck and then get in the right direction to hold X to pick it up.
Yeah, there's a few like that. I have 45 of the 50.
I have 1.
I have 45 as a 50. I could do the last 2, but I just have to get on when people are playing and go do the Court of Orcs 2 more times. Because that's actually all I'm missing, is the last 2 from Court of Orcs.
Yeah, what is the Court of Orcs? Because I picked up that stupid coin thing, and then I picked up a new thing where it summons a lieutenant in the Court of Orcs.
Okay, so the Court of Orcs, and I think this is another good thing that they did. I think it needs a little bit better loot, but it works for what it's supposed to be. So the Court of Orcs, there are 3 tiers. There's 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier. First tier is a boss or a set of bosses. So it could be a knight that every time his shields go down, it recharges after a little bit, and it's a different barrier type. So it starts off as arc and then ends up being void next, and then goes to solar, and then goes back to void, and then goes back to solar, then goes to arc.
I suck at that. It doesn't matter what it is. I just shoot whatever gun I have at the enemy. I'm really bad.
There's also like, it summons 3 wizards, and all 3 wizards have to die within a certain time of each other, or else they all respawn.
Yeah.
Or a ogre that you can't break its shields until it takes damage from an exploding thrall, from a cursed thrall. So that's tier 1, and you're like, okay, they're not too hard. They're really easy to get by, especially if you do them solo. They're a challenge, but they're not like hard. Tier 2 now is what they do is they go, we're going to take the ogre, and we're going to take these 2 Knight brothers that have to be next to each other for you to damage them. Once one dies, then you can damage the other one freely. And you have to fight them both at the same time.
Interesting. Doesn't sound like fun by myself.
No, that one, tier 2s, you want a group. So the biggest thing with Court of Orcs is you can have up to 9 people. You can have your fire team of 3 and 2 more fire teams with you. if they're all in the same instance of it, and you guys can go in and do this. Tier 3 changes weekly. Tier 3 is a specific boss for the Court of Orcs that changes weekly. So,
Is it harder or easier than the raid?
easier than the raid, but they're a challenge. They're a challenge for like 6 people. 9 people, it's not too much of a challenge. It's still there, but it's not too much. So the last time I did a tier 3, which was not last week, but the week before last. No, it was last week. Before the reset, because I hadn't had Touch of Malice yet, because I was doing it for Touch of Malice. Was a wizard. What happened is you started the fight. The ground's poisonous except for one little section. You have to stay in that section for so long before an area clears out where you can DPS the boss. But you have to kill its 2 alkalites, or else you can never do damage to its shields. You kill the 2 alkalites, and you can hurt the boss. While the boss is going, ads get spawned, so you have to manage everything correctly. Most people just ignore the ads and go for the boss, but I've watched people ignore the ads and just get slaughtered by the ads because the knight walks up and kills you.
That I do first. If we're fighting a boss, I focus entirely on ads, nothing else. Everyone else can do whatever the hell they want. Until the ads are gone, I don't attack the boss.
Yeah, and that's
the boss. But if they come back, I'm not going to attack the boss. I'm just going to do ads.
and that's what you want to do. So the other week ago, or the other week, it was the fanatic of Crota, who was interesting because what the fanatic is you'd fight him, and what you had to do is you had to shoot him to the ground like Crota, and then you had to pull out your swords and damage him with your swords. And that was the only way to kill him. So, and again, and that's another thing that that I love is the fact that you get your new heavy weapon and it's a sword and it's fucking awesome. It sucks because you don't have range right there, but
Wait, which character has the sword?
all 3 can get the sword. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who, what character you can. All 3 of them can have it. When you do the quest for the sword, originally you go through, you get the quest. You have to get 25 Hadium flakes and something else. You get the sword, and it starts out at light 200. Doesn't sound like it's really good. So you actually have to infuse your sword. You have to do it to get the exotic sword. So that
Where
sword.
was this? I think I'm blanking. I've seen a lot of people in games, both multiplayer, PvE, and it doesn't look like a special. It is, in fact, a basic sword.
It is a basic sword, but it's a heavy weapon.
And where do you get that?
There's a quest from Eris after you get 5 calcified fragments. And then you talk to Lord Shax, and he'll continue the quest.
Because until you brought it up, I was really confused. I always saw people with swords. I was like, oh, that must be a new special for somebody. And I was like, why does everybody have this fucking sword?
So, once you complete the original quest, Lord Shax gives you a choice. You can get a solar, an arc, or a void sword. Choose wisely, because you are stuck with that sword. Period. End of story. Because when you do the exotic quest, that sword that you chose, your exotic sword is going to be the same element type. So if you choose void, you're going to have void. And that last part of that quest is fucking annoying as hell. Especially if you choose arc, because arc's the first night out of the gates.
Well, so either way you're fucked, because, I mean, either way you're going to have to fight someone who is against your sword.
So pretty much how it goes is you do the quest, you get your sword, then you have to fill every node of your sword, get it to light 280.
Jesus.
Lord Shax then gives you a new quest where you, with your sword, you have to kill 50 hive majors, I believe. I think it's hive majors. It might
Sounds
be.
somewhat easy.
And you have to get 25 kills in PvP with your sword.
Oh, fuck that.
Find a group. And
For the
this
sword,
this
don't you have to get ammunition?
nope,
For the sword?
you do
just
not.
pop it out and fuck people up whenever
You
you
can
want.
pop it out and beat people with the handle. It takes 2 hits if you using the handle. So runs like a normal melee. And it counts. My best suggestion to anyone that is doing that quest, best thing that I found, get onto DestinyLFG.net and find a group that is willing to go into a free-for-all. 6 guardians all working on that same quest and just beat the shit out of each other and have fun with it. If you can't do that and you're going into PvP with it, don't get pissed off. Just concentrate on that. You're going to die a shit ton of times. Don't worry about KD ratio. Just have fun with it, because I had the most fun running around beating people with a sword that wasn't there, and watching people just sit there and they shoot me and they see me running with the sword, like I'm running at them with the sword, and they just stop shooting me going, what are you doing?
Fucking lunatic.
And then I hit them once with the melee, and they sit there and go no, and they kill me, and I'm laughing, I'm rolling on the floor. There's something just hilarious about it that I enjoyed. But after you do that, then you have to get 500 kills, 10 of a special item, depending on what you get. So Void, you have to get items from Relic Iron drops on Mars. Arc, it's
easy
on
with a hunter. Just find shit.
Yeah. Arc, it's Venus, and no, Solar is Venus, Arc is Earth. So
It's smart to get a bunch of bounties for said planets before you could do stuff like that.
And just, but yeah, you have to farm the material. So you have to get the spin metal. You can't open a chest and it'll be there. You actually have to farm the spin metal. And it's a 5% drop. I'm just letting people know. It's not easy. I spent 4 hours farming.
Were you using your radar?
Yeah. So every time I saw some relic iron pop up,
it's so easy because I've farmed the moon so many times. I've like memorized where every little pile of helium filaments is. Like I know where everything is now.
or is one of them? But yeah, for Void you have to be on Mars. So I was running around Mars just doing that. But since it's a 5% drop rate, you pick up the relic iron and then you're like, okay, nothing there. You go to the next one, no, nothing there, and you run around for a little bit, and then you finally get one drop, and you're like, God damn it.
Needless to say, do you have a lot of relic iron right now?
I've got about 200. That's how many relic irons I found.
Hardest to farm.
Yeah.
Moon's easy, Cosmodrome's okay, but Mars, it's so hard, personally, to get all the iron, at least without the radar.
And then for the next part, because it was killing the 500 enemies, I just went to the Light Beyond, or the Dark Beyond, the first mission on the moon, and just kept farming opening the door and killing the thralls with my super, because it's 500 kills with abilities, I should state. Grenades, melee, super.
There was one mission, it was the second to last, or the third to last mission for the second expansion, and there were so many fucking thralls running at me. It seems like that would be the best place to do it. That's the place where I had to get fusion rifle kills. So I got a fusion rifle, I just went through that level again, finished it like instantly. There were so many thralls, just like, and because the fusion rifle went through things, every time I hit one thrall, I killed like 7. It was the easiest thing ever. I mean, maybe there's probably some better spots. If I Googled it, there's probably a better spot to kill people on. But...
Oh, there always is. So, honestly, like, overall, I think that they did right with the Taken King. I still feel like there's a lot left out. Um, I do
Huh?
feel a lot of it is the little too late.
Well, I got three things on there that I guess are okay. Um, the fact there's 16 bounty slots that you can choose whatever you put in there, that makes me happy.
And you don't
As
have to go
someone,
back to the bounty guy to turn them in.
yeah, that too. That's so nice not going back to Earth all the time. But it's nice when there's something I don't want to work on, but I'll passively get to it eventually. I don't want to like just farm it until I get it. I'll just keep that, and eventually I'm gonna get it, and then I'll get another six bounties. I'll do it again and again and again, and eventually I'll finish enough in one day, so the next day I can get more, and then I'll get more like that. But it's really good for experience. There was a guy online who got to level 40 in about 15 minutes because he saved all the bounties. Plus, he got those stupid Red Bull cans and got extra experience from that too. 15 minutes later, after all those bounties he saved up, turned them all in after the Taken King came out. Fucking level 40, like instantly. Which, oh, two more things. I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out when I got rank 1 with the new monarchy. It gave me a legendary banner thing. I clicked on it, nothing happened. I was like pissed. I was like, well, where the hell's my item? Because it gave me a legendary. I posted on the
Yeah.
forums. People were like, oh no, you have to be rank 3. Like, oh no, you only get this, or maybe you should check your inventory, check the mailbox. Finally figured it out. It's not rank 3 anymore. You do, in fact, get items every single rank. Just rank 1, you get 5 strange coins and 5 motes of light. And it didn't pop up on my information on the side. I actually did get 5 strange coins and 5 motes of light. Some people say second or third rank is when you get items. But
It's usually like rank 3 is when you start getting actual items.
when I hit New Monarchy second rank, I got a legendary gauntlet thing. So I guess maybe it varies for each person because everybody has their own information. Like, oh, it's 3. No, it's 2.
See,
No,
for me, it was rank 3 because, well, I had New Monarchy at rank 3 before this came out. My New Monarchy was at rank 9 when the Taken King came out. Um,
yeah, I hit 1, got some coins and shit. 2 gave me armor, so I was like, okay,
and the
whatever
third?
works. Third, I haven't hit yet, which I could probably do right now. Another new feature, just turning in ammunition, sapphire coils, just all kinds of shit, and it just like increases your rank like no other. It's like here's all this shit I don't need.
Yeah,
Thanks
here,
for the
take
level up.
the shit. Yeah, I like that.
But oh, there's the other thing. Do you miss Dinklebot? What do you think about the new dialogue?
Okay, so for the new game, I actually think he works well. He's got some really good humor in it, and it works. Especially like Saber 6, when you start walking towards Rasputin's coolant tank, and he's sitting there talking and goes, "Man, Rasputin's got all this room and everything. I just live in your backpack."
Yeah.
Like,
And
really,
then
dude?
what was it? When you fight the two brothers, the Cabal, you
Mm-hmm.
walk in the room. He has like 3 or 4 different sayings, but the first one he did for me, he's like, "I thought they would have destroyed the car. It looks like oh, bombs. It's covered in bombs."
I think for the expansion, it works. When you listen to what Peter Dinklage did in the original game, it doesn't work very well because they didn't change the lines at all. They didn't add anything to those lines.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work because Peter Dinklage worked at that time. Um,
It looks
but
like a lot of the story, the original story, has the same dialogue, just different voice.
yeah, that's all it is.
But
So
they add a lot of new shit to it.
yes, I like what they did for. Again, going back to that, they gave him a personality. They were giving characters personalities, and the jokes, the cracks, the wisecracks he makes, things like that. I like that, and his voice kind of works for it. It's grown on me, but it's not.
Yeah.
It works for now with the expansion.
Did they add voices to the second expansion? Because when I did
I
the
don't
second
think they did.
expansion, there was no talking whatsoever. Like it took me a while to figure out like fucking Dinklebot said shit. Like he didn't say anything to you. It was just the Awoken.
Yeah. I don't think second expansion there was anything there, or the second DLC, I should say. Um, so really quick, last little rundown for everything. Going to talk about the raid
I
because
got
I've
one
done
more
it.
thing to close for you, whenever you want to do that, but you
Yeah,
can do the
well,
read first.
yeah. Let's talk about the raid because I know this is the biggest thing. I feel like it's the best raid that they put into the game. Least glitchy, um, best well thought raid, which isn't saying much when you think about it, but there's not very big exploitations. There's one, but it's so hard to pull off normally that it's if you're not with a normal static, it's not going to work. You're not going to do it. I'll get to that in a little bit, but there's not that many exploitations. It works. Um, they really kept to their promise that not everything's a fucking bullet sponge. Like
Yeah.
there's a way you fight the boss. You're going to do the damage needed, and if you do it right, you're going to win. If you do it wrong, you can recover. You do it horribly, just wipe it up and start over. It works. Everything that it does works, especially the last two fights. And when you get Touch of Malice, and this is where it becomes broken, the last two bosses become a joke. The first two bosses are actually tend to be the harder when you get to that point. I felt like Gorgoth was the hardest, or was the easiest, because of how his works once you understood it. And Oryx was actually one of the harder ones to fight. Once I got Touch of Malice, the Daughters of Oryx and Oryx himself are a fucking joke because of how it goes. So the first one is the War Priest. To get to the War Priest, you have to trade off a buff and get up and remove stacks, and it opens the door. You fight the War Priest. The War Priest is actually kind of funny because his enrage timer is there's 3 big pillars. When you're fighting him, he makes an order. Once you put in the right order, someone gets a buff, everyone goes stacks on him, you DPS him, he creates this orb. If you're not standing behind one of the pillars, you die. If you're standing behind the pillar, you're saved, but the pillar disappears. So you have to move pillar to pillar to pillar. And you keep doing that. Well, you only get 3 pillars. So if you don't take him down by the 4th time you go through, everyone dies because there's no shadows to stand in. It's pretty self-explanatory when you're like, okay, that makes sense. He's difficult, but he's not overly difficult because you can keep the time going for a good long while. You can do a lot of damage. We've done it in only losing one actual tower or one pillar, and I think the best is no pillars lost, just completely destroying him in one round. So you go through that. The second one is Golgroth, and he's got little bubbles above. You shoot down a bubble, you stand in the puddle, someone's got the attention of Golgroth and have to shoot orbs or else they die, because 4 orbs you die, and it shoots 3 at a time. And what you're supposed to do, the normal tactic is, or the basic tactic is, one person has the attention, everyone's staying in that bubble's goo. The other person's shooting their bubble, and right when this person says, hey, pull it, they pull the attention. The rest of the group fires, kills the bubble, goes, stands in the goo, and you trade off up to 6 times. And you call it good, because you can do it in one run if you are working right. The other one is just shooting one orb down continuously, but having 5 people in the puddle DPSing him, and you can do it in 2 bubbles. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest, especially with black spindles.
Complicated as shit. I'm probably gonna end up like Eventually getting there. I'm probably gonna do the raids, like maybe one a month.
You
But
could
time I have.
you could probably get to it eventually. You
I'm
could
gonna
watch
start
vids.
from the Vault of Glass since I never fucking got to finish that one, which is bullshit. Considering everybody's gonna be level 40 and the Vault of Glass is level 26, it should be easy
No,
to beat compared to what we did before.
no, it's not.
I was 2 levels when I played before. There were 6 of us, obviously. I was 2 levels above the minimum, and everyone else was between 1 and 2. So now it's
You're 10 levels higher than the hard mode.
14 levels. Because I only did it on easy mode. All I wanted to do was beat the raid. That was it. I just wanted to experience and finish it.
Yeah. So, what the fuck? So from there we got you go to through some jumping puzzles, which I think were well done. I like jumping puzzles sometimes, but I'm also an ass kiss that way. Uh, After that, you get the daughters, and this is where Touch of Malice comes into play. For the daughters, the runner has to go get a relic and essentially dunk one of the daughters and get her orb. Usually not the one casting the spell. While you're in the orb, you are invincible. See where Touch of Malice comes into play here?
It just it seems so complicated. I'll have to watch just like I did with the Vault of Glass. I'll have to
Yeah.
watch a whole Let's
When
Play of
when you're
actually
when
doing it.
you're when you're in the bubble, when the person steals the bubble, everyone gathers on them. When you're in the bubble, you are invincible. You cannot take any damage. So what do? You pull out your Touch of Malice, you empty out the clip before you walk into the bubble. Everyone jumps into the bubble and shoots and kills one of the daughters. Because now you're doing double damage, you have infinite ammo, and you're not taking damage. So you can just shoot her in the head for 5k a piece, or almost 6,000 damage every single time you shoot, but you're not taking any damage, and you can just hold the trigger and keep firing till the bitch is dead. And then you go to the second one, and you do the same thing. And then, of course, Oryx, when you're fighting Oryx, he does the same. You have a platformer that you'll have to watch the video for. You get an invincibility aura. Everyone's got to pop bombs, but before you pop the bombs, you have to stun Oryx. What do? You use Touch of Malice to stun him because you can get off so many shots and they're double damage, and you don't have to worry about shit because you can't die. While you're in the bubble, you can't die.
Sounds nice. Wish I was always in the bubble.
Yeah, seriously.
Take it with me to every level I went to.
But honestly, I think if you don't have Touch of Malice, the raid works. It feels challenging, and you feel like it was worth the time, and you feel accomplished. When you have Touch of Malice, the last 2 fights are such a joke. You're like, whatever. I honestly think Touch of Malice is kind of like Galhorn for the original game. It ruins the raids.
Hmm.
So I kind of can't wait to see how hard works and see that Touch of Malice doesn't work the same way in the hard modes. Because I guarantee you that you can't take damage from the outside, but while you're inside, you can still take damage. So we'll see how that goes. Your last little closing thing.
I thought this would be a good thing to end on. Is the end of the game. I apparently there's a lot of different things I haven't seen yet. Hopefully you'll have more information than me. 2 things. End of the game. Eris, what the fuck? Why did she take that shard from Oryx's sword? What is the shard? Is she a bad guy? Is she a good guy? Also, where the hell did Robot Girl from the original story go?
Okay, so Robot Girl, still no clue. I don't know where she is. We still We have her rifle. She walks off. We're still not sure where she is. Sh I'm guessing she's going to make an appearance in one of the next DLCs.
Mm.
Eris, the shard, is actually the shard of your sword. When you get your sword, the shard she takes is the same shard you have in your sword.
Literally the exact same, or one
The,
of.
it's supposed to be. They're going on the premise that everyone that even though everyone's running around with the same fucking sword, that you are the one person that's beaten Oryx. You're the one person that's beaten Crota. Um, they're
So
going
the
off that
shot
premise.
that
So
came
that
out of Oryx's sword is the one that she gives you inside the new sword.
yeah, that you have in your sword.
So I'm really confused on why she got the piece and everything. And I was just doing a little bit of reading. Some facts, not guesses, facts, is that Eris and the Queen know each other.
She because of what the queen says, and that's always a thing. That's what I was going with, is because the queen says, "It's up to you now, my hidden friend."
Yeah.
And then when Eris picks up the shard and goes, "It is done, my queen." I'm like, so Eris and the queen knew each other.
Yeah.
What retrospect? How did they know each other? What was Eris to the queen? I want to know. Give me fucking answers.
Well, if you where'd it go? If you read it, do. Find it real quick.
Maybe.
Da-da-da. There's some lore that came out with when Eris first came out of the pit. Apparently, the only one that actually believed her was the queen herself, and they actually kept in touch for a very long time. Um, but one of the things that's unknown is how close are they? What are they? Just friends? Just acquaintances? And then random fact, which I guess is somewhat related, is the queen's brother is the one who actually found the Black Garden, and the reason he's such a dick is because he's afraid of the Black Garden because he found it originally. He's the only one that's actually seen it with his own eyes. He knows exactly where the Black Garden is. He just thinks you're really cocky and he doesn't want you to go there. That's why he's saying it's your death, because he's been there before and he knows how scary it is. Which is probably why it makes him mad at you, thinking that you're able to beat it and he wasn't.
Eh. I still don't like the brother. That sounds like a attempt to redeem. Again, it would be nice for the stuff to be in the game somewhere, not have to go outside source to find it. That's my again, my only issue still is there's still a lot of information that's not in the game that you can't find in the game.
Apparently it's all in Grimoire cards, and that's how
Yep.
you figure out the story.
And I hate that. I dislike the
Some
fact that I
lady,
have to go out of my way to find
yeah,
that.
this was interesting. The person, when Eris says queen, it says, I think she says queen, she refers to Oryx, because Oryx used to be a female called Arash, and had two sisters, Savathun and Zivu Arath, in a Grimoire card. So I was like, wait, Oryx was a female? How the fuck did the hive work?
They don't give a fuck about genders.
Clearly, yeah. And then, here's another thing. The gods in the Grimoire cores were three lesser hive who made a devil's pact with dead Akama to gain immortality for the hive. Oryx and his two siblings. He killed his siblings to become more powerful, however, since they are immortal now. They are just slumbering. So, one of the other guesses is since they're immortal and he quote unquote killed them, they're really just asleep, kind of like Crota was.
Which,
So they're saying they killed Oryx, took the shard, which may or may not randomly be part of immortality, and the shard is actually what's going to help revive the queen, which is part of her, which may be why Eris wanted to kill Crota in the first place because it was the son of Oryx, who she thought had the shard. Clearly he didn't. So Oryx has the shard. Now she has the shard to revive the queen, which is one of the other two sisters.
Yeah.
Which is really complex, but that'd be awesome if I was right on what I just said.
Well,
I'd be so
that'd
happy.
be a good one. That would actually be a good fight.
It's really interesting because why did she go to face Crota? What was the point of it? And she looks like she's part hive, so she has to be related to the hive. Or something happened with her.
Something
So it
happened
makes
down there
sense
that made her
If
more high.
one of the gods, quote unquote, she works for them. Oh, he's the son. He must have the shard to help revive blah, 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 my queen. Go to kill Crota. God damn it, he doesn't have the shard. Then it's like, oh, do this for me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you killed Oryx, thanks. Now I have this shard to go revive someone. What would really be funny is if in an expansion, the reason she gives you the sword is because it's the only thing to go destroy something. You go and fight something with said shard. The shard is the reason that you bring back the queen. Which is why she gave you the sword in the first place.
That would work.
Which is a total dick move, but it's a good storyline.
I like it.
Dick moves are what good storylines are about.
Hold on. All right.
I'm just really excited
No,
for the
I'm-
story. I love storylines more than anything else. That's why I don't play multiplayer. It's just all story for me. I'm
Yeah,
a campaign person.
I'm getting the feedback again.
No, you're not. Just
Yes,
think you
I am.
are.
That's it.
Oh, that was the other thing.
Huh.
There is a rumor which makes sense, saying Zur is actually taken.
He's part of the 9, so I want to know what the 9 is.
Oh, I was just reading about that. The 9.
Besides the Grimoire, I want more in-game for the 9, besides just Zur. Which Zur isn't technically always there, because he even states this body will not last long. So that means Zur's body isn't actually there. It's just a formation of something.
Here, where'd it go? The 9. The only reason the Queen of the Awoken launched an attack, the only reason that makes sense, to make sure the fleet stays in the outer system. It keeps them a safe distance away from the reef and Jupiter, where the 9 are assumed to be who we already knew the Queen is allied with, to stall for time, protect the city from the fleet, etc. So the 9 are actually allies with the Queen, which makes you wonder if part of the 9 are actually the people who are on the ship, help giving her that power. And then, where'd this part go? Vulcan interest asteroid. Yeah, by dealing, or the Queen of the Awoken apparently is dealing with the 9, keeping them out of the inner system. The guy, Zur, is supposed to be in the reef, but he comes out every now and then, sneaking his little ass out to sell you items, because he knows he can make money off of you. Those are pretty much shitty items that come from the 9 because they're so goddamn powerful. And he can make them with ease because he's one of the 9. But he's actually not supposed to be in the inner system. He's supposed to be in the reef. The Queen's supposed to keep him out, but he keeps sneaking out to sell you shit all the time. Which I'm sure we're going to learn his full story eventually.
Eventually. But, again, there's a lot of good lore for the game. Unfortunately, a lot of it is not in-game. You have to go outside. And it's not like... Okay. I wouldn't be bitching about it if it was in-game that you had to go out of your way to find that lore in the game. But the fact that I have to go out of my way to log in... I mean, yeah, sure. TV, PS4 is right here, and I can just pull it up right here on my computer. But...
That's what Google's for.
Yeah. But you seriously have to pull myself out of an immersion. There's no way of checking it inside the game, which still annoys me. There's no way I can check all this lore. Though one of my favorite quests still is getting to deal with Praedyth. and knowing that Praedyth is alive but dead. Because he's stuck in the fabrics of time with the Vex. I think that was it's a great story. So, when people get the chance, do the Taken War Venus. Because that's the first quest that you deal with. But
It was really interesting. Someone also brought up Zer being taken when she throws her rock on the table.
mm-hmm.
She says their will is not their own, referring to how Oryx controls them. And often said as NPC dialogue, if you're standing by Zer, he goes, "My will is not my own," which is very interesting. How it's the exact same thing, and also his face always looks weird. But now that if you compare Taken to what he looks like, he literally looks like Taken in a robe.
And that could easily be it.
But I really want some more depth in what the Nine are, who they are, what they were, stuff like that.
Oh, so do I. So do I. You are not alone. But I think that will be a conversation for another day. Because it is 10:15.
Oh, it's not 10:15.
It's 10:15, so you know what that it means, even though we started way later. I think it's about time to call it for the show tonight. Again, thanks everyone for coming by today. We had a great time doing all the talking about Destiny this week. I got get all the stuff written out for the next couple of weeks that we're going to do shows, and still I'm looking for a replacement for Kamori, so please look forward to that. Hi,
Submit your application, put down your deposit. I require $1,000 deposit on my own. I don't know how much Robbie needs, but I need 1,000.
Now, if you're ever interested in the show, you can always send me a message. I do have a Patreon down below. If you do donate the $50 to the $50 point for Patreon, you do get to be part of the show. You get to help write out a couple of episodes, and you get to appear on the show more than once. I gotta rework the wording on that one, so that one is you pay $50 and you want it, you get to be on the show like 3 or 4 times easily. I'll probably make it if you're as long as you're paying it, you get once a month easily. And then of course we're gonna have another co-host eventually here soon. I just gotta figure everything out, get them on here. I think next week, though, if we do a show next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of games that came out this week and last week that I wanted to talk about and haven't gotten to play yet. So probably talk a little Dragon Quest Heroes next week and Disgaea 5. Probably some other games. Doc and I will get together and we'll talk other games and figure out what we want to talk about. But anyways, as always, guys, I am your host, Kitsuragi, and of course, right next to me is good old Daku. And of course, we are Gamers Against the System, and we will see you guys next time.